So, hello again and welcome to your practice. Today we'll be doing a Vinyasa flow class with an emphasis on connecting with and using the breath to energize the body, to help build some heat, to help lubricate the joints of the body and warm up the muscles. And more importantly, it will help your body maintain its natural harmony, its homeostasis, and you'll leave feeling probably a lot more energized than before. But just to be able to connect with that experience a little more, I invite you to begin in a comfortable seated position, whatever that may look like or feel like for you. A simple cross-legged pose. If you are sitting in a cross-legged pose, just try to sit up high enough, perhaps using a bolster or a block under your seat, so that your knees are at least, or rather your hips are at least as high as your knees. Your knees aren't really flying up here by your chest. And ideally, you get your knees as close to the ground in a cross-legged position for a little more stability and comfort in your seat. Or you could sit sitting back on your heels, or with legs stretched out long, slightly bent, perhaps something underneath your knees for support. Give yourself a moment to find that comfortable seat, making any adjustments that you need to. Sometimes nice to grab the sitting bones, the backside of the pelvis, and just spread the left sitting bone to the left, the right one to the right. This will give you a little bit more base. And with that broader base, it's a little bit easier to sit up tall. And let a big breath out your mouth. And as you make those final adjustments to find that comfortable, easy position to begin with, feel free to close your eyes and turn your attention inward. Begin with a body scan, starting at the top of your head, at the crown, and simply notice any sensation you could feel as you begin to move your awareness down the body, past the forehead, past the temples and the back of the head, scanning over all of the muscles of your face, around the eyebrows, eyes, over the ears, really just moving gently and continuously, following your awareness while resting in your natural breath. As you continue moving your awareness down the body, you may come across a space where you feel a lot of something, a big sensation, maybe just some tension. See if you can use your awareness, and with an exhale, softening any of those hard feelings, letting go of anything you don't need. So continue scanning past the head and into the neck, around the shoulders, and into the torso. Continue like this in your rhythm, just taking the time to notice and feel, and using your exhales to see if you can soften with your awareness a little bit more. If you come across an area where, again, that sensation is a lot, or perhaps very challenging, very uncomfortable, just notice that and open up your compassion to yourself for whatever you're experiencing. And feel free to stay there a little bit longer and just notice what changes over the next few breaths. Continue breathing in through the nose. And if it helps you release, Breathing out through the mouth or the nose, freely and completely. And once you get past your torso into the hips, the pelvis, and the legs, reconnect with your experience and with your natural breath. Once you get through the legs into the bottom of your feet, past the heels, and the soles, and the toes of the feet, you can release this practice and then bring your full attention back to your breathing. Noticing if you can sit up tall with an inhale, a little bit easier. Lifting the body just a little bit lighter. And again, with your exhales, letting go of everything that you don't need to be fully present right here, right now. And as you turn your attention back towards your breath, just notice in what part of the body do you feel your breath the most. Perhaps you notice the expansion in the belly, the movement. Maybe the breath is especially present in your chest, especially if you've been very active recently or feeling stressed. You tend to have a faster, shallower chest breathing. And wherever you feel the breath the most, again, just notice that without any judgment, without any critique. And see if you can become a little bit more interested, a completely neutral observer of all of the aspects of your breath. Maybe the sound, the length, the temperature, and any changes that you might be able to follow with the next breath. If your mind should wander, you find yourself somewhere else, it's okay. Just notice that and bring your full attention back to your breathing. And see if you can soften any tension that may have built up in your shoulders, in your neck. Relaxing all of the small muscles of the face, as if you were wiping all gesture clean from your expression. Softening the space between the eyebrows and the forehead. As you relax the sides of your head, back, soften your jaw. As you're ready, slowly start to deepen your breathing. On your next inhale, just take a little bit longer, a little bit more air in. And with your exhales, lengthen the breath. So each exhale matches that same length, same strength of your inhales, maybe a little bit more. We're going to take your time and just spontaneously let the breath start to get fuller. And make sure that every exhale is smooth, easy, and complete. Maybe even extending the exhales as much as you can, and just letting the inhales open you up a little bit more. As you continue like this, you'll eventually come to what feels like a very long and very full inhalation, perhaps adding a gentle pause, and then smoothly, softly, very gently release the breath out without any struggle, no force. Once you've arrived at this maximum but still very comfortable inhale, it should not be difficult. We're going to maintain this long and deep rhythm of inhales and balance it with some exhales that are just as long or even a tad bit longer and really sweet. Enjoy that release. We'll continue like this for 5 more deep breaths. When you get to the end of your 5th complete exhalation, you can release this practice and just return to your natural breathing. Taking a moment again to notice and feel. You just observe and connect with your experience. Especially notice if there is anything that's already different or that you're able to observe that you didn't notice before. Bring your arms to the center, hands in front of your heart. I invite you to begin your practice from this relaxed inner awareness by setting an intention that honors your experience, that helps you connect with your deepest truth and your greatest good. Many days, my intention is to just remember what I'm grateful for, that I'm very lucky, very happy to be here. And slowly, and when you're ready, gently opening your eyes. I'm going to start with just rubbing the hands together, nice and fast, and fairly firm. So we're going to build up some heat here in the palms, pressing all of the fingers of one hand into the fingers of the other, and all parts of the palm against one another. So we're cleaning through friction, slewing off some old, making some room for something new, but also generating a lot of warmth through this friction. So once you feel like you've got some warmth in the palms and in the fingers of the hand, you're going to cup your hand gently. So there's a little bit of round space, and then bring the bottom of your hand, bring the palm over your eyes, being careful not to push on the eyes, and also to create a completely dark space, very soothing in this warm, dark space to help the eyes relax a little more. Lifting your head, lifting your heart as you inhale. And as you exhale, softening your shoulders and your elbows a little bit more. Notice the length on the back of your neck and see if you can match the same length with the front of the neck. So a very tall, very regal pose, extending through the head. And in this dark space, just notice if there's any kind of movement or color, any shapes. Maybe you've already noticed some images. Oftentimes it seems like flashing light that's dancing around on the screen, the inside of my eyes. Take one more breath here, and as you exhale, lowering your arms. When you're ready, opening your eyes again. It's a really nice and very simple way to give the eyes a break, where we're so often taking in all kinds of input, information, most of our input coming in through the eyes. Really great way to let them enjoy a pause. So we're going to start our breathing exercises, pranayama, today with Kapalabhati. I saw several of you have done this before, but if you're new to it, I'll explain it briefly and invite you to follow along. We'll do a couple rounds. The most important thing about any breathing exercise is that you do it feeling stable, feeling relaxed in your body. So if your seat is very comfortable and you feel stable, feel free to stay that way. And if you like, you could also change your position, maybe even coming to sit up in a chair with your feet on the ground, if that was better. So Kapalabhati is a powerful breathing exercise that's going to help raise the awareness and increase energy in the upper energy centers of the body, and especially increasing awareness and alertness in our head. It's known as the shining skull breathing exercise, and we do this by using a little bit of muscular engagement here in the belly, in the core area, as we exhale. So when you exhale, you're going to squeeze your belly, squeeze your navel into the body, contraction to help push the air out, and the inhale just happens. It's automatic. You don't have to do anything at all. Now, if I were doing this out my mouth, it would look and sound a little bit like this. But with most breathing exercises, we're always breathing in and out through the nose to use the body's natural filter. So if you can, the nose is feeling easy to breathe, do that. Or for the first round, if it helps you, especially if you're new to this, you could imagine that you're trying to blow out a candle that is about one arm length in front of you. And you could do this first round, just do a short round, breathing out through the mouth. Whenever possible, always breathing in through the nose. Again, most importantly is that you don't stress yourself out here. You don't make this difficult. So if you feel like it's taking a lot of effort and causing you distress, just take it easier, slow down a little bit, maybe even take a pause. When you're ready, sit up tall on an inhale. Easy breath in. And as you exhale, fully release all of the breath out, breathing into a comfortable amount, and begin. Get the air all the way out at the end of that exhale. and hold it out if you can for as long as is comfortable in your body. Again, not forcing, not straining, just holding that vacuum and keeping the back nice and tall. And before it becomes stressful, release that holding and take an easy breath in and a full breath out. I'm going to do 2 more rounds. Each one's going to be a little bit longer and a little bit faster if you're following my rhythm. But most importantly is listening to your body and following the rhythm that works for your breath. You also have the option of adding a mudra here by bringing the arms overhead. Just keep the shoulders relaxed and then tuck your fingers into the palms and point your thumbs up for Thunderbolt Mudra here. Again, sit up tall on an inhale. Always inhaling through the nose and exhale completely. As we prepare for second round, take a comfortable inhale and begin. Exhaling completely, lowering the arms. Hold the breath out if that's possible. And you have the option of engaging your energetic locks, lifting your pelvic floor up as you pull your navel in a little bit, perhaps even dropping the chin towards the chest for the chin lock. Again, we're only going to do this holding. Obviously, I need some air to do the talking, but keep the breath out and hold it for as long as you're able to do so easily, not more. And before it becomes difficult, release any holding in the body and take a natural breath in and a full breath out. Really important to pause, make sure that you're staying relaxed in your physical body. And the pause will also help you notice what's going on internally. We'll do one final round as you're ready. An option to take Thunderbolt Mudra here. Shoulders relaxed. Big inhale. Exhale completely. Inhale a comfortable amount to begin. Option to hold the breath out if you like, and engaging Mula Bandha, your pelvic floor, Uddiyana Bandha, belly pulling in and up, and Jalandhara Bandha, the chin lock, dropping the chin towards the chest. When you're ready, without any difficulty, releasing and returning to your natural breath. Just taking a moment again to notice and feel. Beautiful. So when you're ready, we're going to come onto all fours. Feel free to move in any way that feels good. We'll start in cat and cow with just a couple spinal extensions. Inhaling. And as you exhale, rounding the back, flexing the spine, breathing out. Shoulders right above the wrists, knees right under the hips as you arch the back, lifting the tail up. And as you exhale, rounding it back, pulling that tail down towards your knees as you lift the belly up. Inhaling And exhale. This doesn't have to be a completely linear movement. In fact, the body mostly does not move in straight lines. So if you wanted to add some wiggling or some twisting, some figure eights through the hips, or just circular actions, can be a nice way to help wake up the spine and just explore all of the range of movement through your central channel of energy. Sometimes nice to squeeze shoulders to the hips, hips toward the shoulder, and also squeezing, checking out the other side. Great. And then we'll take one easy twist here, starting with the right arm coming up, and exhaling, bringing the back of the hand to the ground, and twisting towards your left side. You can do this dynamically, coming open a bit on your inhales, and exhaling, compressing and twisting a bit more. Or you can come all the way down to the right side of the shoulder, and the right side of the head, using your left hand here for support. Now the hips tend to shift over to the left, so see if you can feel your hips again right above your knees. Maybe energetically engage them a little bit more back to the center. Lengthening on an inhale. And again, seeing if there's anywhere you can soften on an exhale. Let's come back up on an inhale, using a little bit of core support, and exhale back to hands and knees. Getting ready for the other side. This side might be very different, so take your time and notice that. Inhaling, maybe opening the chest again, and exhaling, deepening in your twist, if that's available, coming down to the left side of the left shoulder, or at least coming towards the floor a little bit more with your exhale. Right hand by the head for support. Also, you could bring the back of the right hand to your lower back, making sure that area feels open, extended, connecting with that core support, bringing the hips right over the knees, and exhaling again to let go of any physical tension you don't need. Come out at the end of an exhale, engaging the core, inhaling, holding on to that support, opening up, and exhale back to hands and knees. As we come up on an inhale to downward facing dog. This is your first downward dog of the day. It can be really nice to move into it, bending one knee and stretching the back of the other leg. I like to come up on the inhales onto the toes, onto the balls of the feet, and exhale, enjoy a real deep stretch through the back side of your leg. One at a time here, a couple times, usually feels good. And then both legs, stretch those heels back and down. Make sure your shoulders feel very stable and relaxed. So the head hangs heavy right in between your upper arms. See if you can settle in a little bit easier. Finding your stillness. Again, noticing your natural breath. So for the rest of the class, until we get to our final breathing exercise for deep calming and relaxation at the end, I invite you to either breathe naturally, and just notice your breath and how it's going to change as we start moving more and more. Or if you want a little bit more energy, you want a little bit more warmth, circulation moving through the body, you could try Ujjayi Breathing, which I'll go ahead and explain coming up in a moment in standing. Walk your feet forward, right behind your hands, coming into a forward bend. And then very slowly help yourself up, unrolling the spine one piece at a time. The head and the neck coming up last. So we're going to move through some sun salutations with variations here. And if you would like to do Ujjayi breathing, you haven't done this before, then it can help to have the image of a mirror. Imagining your hand in front of you like a mirror that you wanted to moisten and clean. And you could do this by generating that moisture with the breath, right? So feel what's happening in your throat as you imagine generating that fog, that moisture for the mirror. And also notice that sound of the breath. There's a bit of a constriction at the back of the throat, and this focusing of the breath with deep belly breathing being the generator for the breath here is going to create a very powerful feeling of breath and will again increase circulation and warmth in the body. Now we can do the same breathing exercise through the nose. See if you can notice that same feeling in the back of your throat with the lips closed. Ujjayi, meaning victorious breathing, often also called the sound of ocean breathing, because it sounds a little bit like that ocean in a seashell. So you can use that practice as well as it serves you, or return to natural breathing whenever you're ready, and anytime you need. So standing tall in your mountain, hands and biceps facing forward, lift your chin parallel to the earth. Ground yourself here, down through the bottom of your feet. As you inhale, lift the arms up, look up. Exhale, bend from your hips, forward bend. Inhale, come halfway up. And then exhale, the right leg leading first, coming into a lunge, and come down to your fingertips. This will help give a little bit more room to extend in the back. And exhale, bring that second foot back for plank. And make sure you have this long line through the whole body in plank. Usually we reach the bottom of the feet back, the tailbone a little bit down as your heart reaches forward. For this first chaturanga, come down to your knees and keeping your elbows very close to your body, relax the shoulders far from your ears as you lower down all the way to the earth. Then point the toes with your elbows right above your wrists. Keep them close to your sides. Engage the feet down to lift your upper body up. Cobra pose, nice and gentle at first. Exhale, release the chin to the chest and come back to downward facing dog. Inhale, bring that right leg back to help bring it forward. Onto the fingertips again for that lunge on the other side. Exhale, step forward, forward bend. Inhale, we'll come halfway up again, long spine. Exhale, soften, forward bend. To inhale, you can always use this rolling action if that feels really good in your back. And then exhale, standing tall, back to the mountain. Inhale, arms up, reach up. Exhale, fold from the hips, forward bend. Inhale, engage the core as you reach the tail back, the heart forward. Exhale, the left leg in the lead for the second side. Pause for a breath on fingertips. And then exhale, back to that plank or plank on your knees. And you might want to try the knee version, especially if that helps you feel that integrity in the shoulders. It helps you connect to that core support as you lower down. Turn the tops of the feet down to the ground, pushing them down to help you lift forward and up. Gentle cobra. Exhale, chin to the chest, and release back to downward dog. Inhale the left leg up to bring it forward. Set it down lightly. Exhale, step the back foot forward, forward bend. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, release. Coming up, you could also drop the hips as low as the knees, and with strong legs, a long back, lift up, one breath. Exhale, settle down, at least a breath. We'll do that again. In, looking up. Exhale, holding forward to the ground. Inhale, halfway up, shoulders back. Exhale, right leg back on the fingertips again. This time, for a little bit of balance work, a little bit more core, you have the option to keep the left leg floating in your plank pose. Inhale for length, connecting to that inner strength. Exhale, coming down, keeping those elbows close to the sides. Point the toes. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, release, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Come onto the fingertips, engage the legs to get a little more length through the spine. Exhale, step forward. Uttanasana, easy bend. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, really long spine. Exhale, really soft release. Inhale, rising up, looking up. Exhale, settling down. Inhale, extending. Exhale, releasing. Forward bend. Inhale, left side leads. Exhale, right leg meets it. Option to stay floating with the right leg, and also option to lower yourself down, the whole body at once. Release. Inhale with elbows by your sides, cobra pose. Exhale, coming back. Ardha Mukha Svanasana, the downward dog. Inhale, left leg up. Just step it forward between your hands. Maybe use your hands to help it so it's all the way in front. And on your next exhale, stepping forward, forward bend. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. Inhale, coming up. Feeling good. Exhale, settling down. Now, for a variation, we're going to bend the knees and come into chair pose. Still extending through the spine, reaching your tail down, lifting your heart up, and relaxing shoulders. Inhale to come out of the chair, and then exhale, forward bend. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, right leg first. Exhale, option to stay floating for one-legged plank. Inhale for length, and exhale, come on down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, reach it up and back. Just step it forward. And on your next exhale, forward bend. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, settle. Drop the hips, knees following toes. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, sit a little deeper. Coming out on an inhale, and exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, left leg leads. Pausing for a breath, or more if you like. Exhale, stepping back. That one-legged plank option. Inhale, one line of energy, lengthen the body. And exhale, slowing down, connecting to that strength. Cobra pose on an inhale. Exhale, back to dog. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step it forward. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, release all the way. Rising up on an inhale, settling down on an exhale. Do one last round here, moving about one breath, one movement now. Inhaling, lengthening up, exhaling, softening. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, stepping into your lunge. Stay floating here, and lowering down on an exhale. Inhale, little cobra, maybe even without the hands. Exhale, stable base in the dog. Inhale, right leg up. And this time, as you step your right foot forward between your hands, feel free to drop your back leg down. The foot will turn so that it's facing the front corner of the mat, more or less. And you can come on up for a little warrior. And bring the arms back down by your side to your hips. We're going to lengthen both legs and step the back foot halfway forward. So now there's about maybe a foot, one of your feet or 1.5 of your feet between the two legs. Lengthen your spine, and then exhale, folding forward into a little pyramid. For this pyramid, your hands could stay on your hips, especially if that helps you keep your spine long, especially the lower back. You could also micro bend that front knee a little bit, or even rest the hands on the leg or the floor. What you don't want, though, is to force the knee in the front leg, so instead reach down through the back foot, especially the heel. And to come out, we bend that front leg, stepping forward and moving right into that halfway lift. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, coming up. Exhaling, release. Inhale, getting that arch in the lower back, whether you're in a chair or maybe it's just standing. Exhale, folding forward, forward bend. Inhale for length, halfway up. Exhale, the left leg leading. And maybe the right leg floating one more time as you lengthen the body on an inhale. Exhale, chaturanga, all the way down. Inhale, another cobra. Exhale, one more, downward facing dog. Inhale, the left leg up again. Notice both hips, reach through the bottom of both feet. And as you exhale, step that left foot all the way between your hands as you lower the back foot down. So the heel, the little toe side of the back foot are grounding the back leg, back and down as you reach up. Soften your shoulders. Make sure that front knee is right above the ankle, following the center line of the foot. And maybe even bend your elbows here and grab the back of your neck where the neck meets the head. This sometimes helps relax the shoulders a little bit more down. And then you can gently engage the back of the neck with your hands and reach back up, holding on to that length. And then lengthen both legs. Bring the hands to the hips as you step that back foot about halfway forward from where it was. Now both feet can be in one line, which is a traditional variation. You could also step that back foot out to have a little bit wider base. Lengthen the whole upper body. And exhale, fold from your hips, bringing your chest in the direction of that front leg. You can always bend the front knee a little bit. And you can rest your hands anywhere. It's going to help you really hold on to that length. We're not forcing the leg. Don't put too much weight in the hands. Instead, see if you can bring that back heel a little bit more down to the ground, reaching back. And then inhale, step forward and come halfway up. And exhale, fold, full release. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, settle down. Lovely. So standing tall in your mountain, again, let's just notice what the breath is doing. Notice if you're still able to stay connected there with your Ujjayi breathing, just your natural rhythm of breathing. And we're going to take tree pose from here. So I'm going to start with your preferred leg and bring the other leg, maybe just where the toes are on the ground and the heel resting against the calf. Maybe letting the whole foot rest below the knee of your standing leg. Or maybe bring the foot all the way above the knee. So it's resting very close to the groin with the heel. Feel the balance in your hips and find something that's not moving to look at. This will help your balance. Lifting the upper body by grounding down through your standing leg. Maybe bringing your hands from your hips to the center of the heart. Option also to reach up with your hands. Don't worry if you fall out. Happens. Just come back to your pose, possibly also a variation that allows you to better connect with your breath, better support and challenge your balance. And then bring your hands back down to the heart, to the hips. And then we're going to lift that standing leg, lift the lifted leg a little bit more, staying standing on the same leg. And just hug the knee towards the chest. Nice release in the lower back. And then flex the foot, and we're going to bring that lifted leg back into airplane version of Warrior 3. This can feel wobbly, so bringing your arms out wide will help your balance. Reach those toes back a little bit more as you bring your core in and up. Heart forward. One more breath, and then exhale, we're going to fold over that standing leg. Softening here, feeling your hips, maybe lifting that leg a little bit higher. And then on an exhale, we're going to set it down. We'll come into that lunge we've been in before, with the option to add a little bit more dynamic movement with the breath. We're going to switch to lunging on the other side. And then exhaling back to downward dog. Inhaling, that first leg is forward again. And then exhaling, downward dog. The idea here is to now start moving as quickly as the breath and just alternating nice stretch here through the hip flexors, through the legs. You can do one more time on each side. And then come back into downward facing dog. Now, whatever leg was your standing leg for tree, I'm going to bring that leg up. And then exhale, step it forward all the way between your hands again. And then drop the back heel down to the ground, coming up one more time for Warrior 1. So in Warrior 1, the hips want to angle forward, kind of like headlights of a car, both aiming towards the front side of your mat. And that back heel reaching down and back. Go ahead and bring your hands to your lower back, just above your seat. The tailbone reaches down, the pubic bone in the front lifting up towards your core. As you bring that lowest rib a little bit lower into center. Interlacing your fingers can be a nice option here to stretch a little bit through the shoulders. Keep the elbows gentle as you reach your hands up and back and relaxing the shoulders down into the back. You can stay here or fold forward for the humble warrior with these interlaced hands. And again, that heel in the back stabilizing you, little toe reaching down. It's the big toe in the front. We'll reach down there to come back up. And then step the back foot about halfway forward With an option to come into pyramid again, with the hands clasped behind the back. Now, if again, this closed-legged stance with feet in one line is too narrow, feel free to widen that. Go ahead and try to widen your elbows apart, bending them a bit, stretching them away from each other as you keep those shoulders relaxed in the back. And go ahead and release the hands and step forward, come halfway up. Exhale, full release, forward bend. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, settle down. So we're going to take our tree pose, one of our peak poses today again, now with your less preferred leg. Usually we have one side that we feel much more confident, more stable, easier in that side. So for this side, you might need a different variation, but it should stay the same as the balance feeling through your pelvis. The hips facing forward, the standing leg is strong. Maybe the foot rests below the knee or above it. Either way, remember your breath. You can keep your hands on the hips or out wide for a little extra balance, or even if you have a wall close to you, using a wall for a little extra support. Hands in front of your heart. Option to reach up for that full expression of tree, relaxing the shoulders, opening your hands, spreading your fingers out long and wide. Come back into center. We're going to lift that lifted leg a little bit more, hugging it in towards the belly or even up towards the chest. As you flex the foot, bring it back into your airplane or warrior three. Folding forward over that standing leg, but still engaging the core, and then reach those toes back as you reach the crown of the head forward. One more breath, and then on an exhale, fold over your standing leg again. Let's see if you can observe your hips. And step that back foot all the way down. And this time we'll do the Kriyas, this lunge sequence again, with the option to come onto your fingertips and even stay on your fingertips in down dog. Notice how that's different. Make sure you still feel that same ease and support in your shoulders. Also, you might want to practice a little bit more lift by engaging your core on the switches and as lightly as you can, jumping to make the switch. I find when I do this on an exhale, I'm usually able to stabilize a little better as I bring the other knee forward. One more time each side. And then coming back into that downward dog, now on the full hand. And bringing that standing leg from the second side up again to bring it all the way forward. Warrior one. Coming up on an inhale. And with the option to interlace the fingers, if you can remember, put the other thumb on top this time. Reach down through the heel, back through the little toe in the back foot. With relaxed shoulders, fold your upper body over that front leg. Option to drop the head towards the shin. Grounding through that back foot and the big toe in the front. Soften through the elbows and lifting the hands towards the back of the head. Inhale, coming on up. Exhale, stepping forward for pyramid pose. One last time. Make sure you don't rush it. Make sure you feel the extension in the lower back. And then folding forward from your hips. Coming out, we bend the front knee a little more, release the hands, and come halfway up. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, settling down. Lovely. Okay. So we're just going to take a couple minutes to, literally only 2 minutes, to come on down to the ground. One last time, connecting towards center with a little bit of boat pose. So come onto the toes of each foot, lengthen your lower back and bring the lower legs up, parallel to the ground. Option to bring the hands parallel, palms facing inward, the thumbs pointing up. And breathe nice and deep. Lengthen your spine as you lift your heart, pulling that belly in. Exhale, lower the legs, cross the ankles, and give yourself a big hug. From here, it's really fun to come down to the ground by hugging yourself and then just rolling back. But make sure you only roll on the back. Don't roll on the neck. Nice. And then bring your feet down to the floor and open them as wide as the mat. Bring your arms out wide like a letter T, the back of the head on the ground. And just let your knees roll or flow, waving side to side. Nice release for the side abdominal muscles. And if you're still doing Ujjayi breath, this will be our last pose with it, coming up into bridge. Heels of the feet barely within your reach of your longest finger, bending your elbows into robot arms. Again, the back of the head is touching the ground and you're looking straight up. We're not going to move the head around. As you inhale, reach down through the backs of the upper arms, through your feet, even a little bit through the head, to lift your hips up. Reaching your chest towards your chin as you reach your knees away from your forehead. Deep breath here. And then exhale slowly, roll the upper back, then the middle back, and finally the lower back, all the way down. Option to open the legs a little wider and wave the knees again. Or feel free to bring your bottom of the feet together, toes touching, balls touching, the heels and the soles of the feet pressed gently against each other. Coming into bound cobbler's pose in the reclined variation. This, getting a nice release here through the open, the inside of the legs. You might want to rest your thumbs on your hip bones here and your pointer fingers right there on the pubic bone. All three of these points, when they come onto one level, one plane, this is a nice sign that your hips are balanced and enjoying that openness equally. You might want to adjust your pelvis, adjust your seat in your hands until you feel all three of those points at the same level. If this is too much for your groins, this feels like way too much sensation, you could put something underneath the outside of your legs. This can be your variation of our final resting pose, Shavasana. Returning again to your natural breathing rhythm. Or returning to any variation of a final resting pose that you can settle in and be still. Perhaps again, making any final adjustments, any small movements you need to get comfortable. Sometimes lifting the upper body will help you bring the shoulder blades a little bit more underneath the back. A little closer to center. It's just a little bit more support for the opening through the chest. It helps me release the whole body down a little bit heavier into the earth. Take your time to get comfortable. And when you get settled in, closing your eyes. Taking a moment again to just scan over the whole body, this time moving up from the toes, to the balls of the feet. Noticing the whole bottom of the foot on each side. Before moving your awareness up through the lower legs, knees. Noticing and feeling again in the upper legs. And connecting through the rest of the body. And taking your time again to just observe and feel as you move through the abdomen into the chest, observing your shoulders and your arms. If you can keep your whole body soft and still as you move through the neck into the head, taking your time again to release all tension, all gesture, and all expression, softening all of the little muscles around your face, around your mouth, softening around your eyes, and your ears, letting all of your senses withdraw a little bit more inward. When you get to the top of the head, feeling your whole body again as one. And again, using your exhales to see if you can let go of anything else that you don't need. From this quiet, resting position, one more time, bring your full attention to the rise and fall of the natural breath. Feel free to stay here as long as you need. And only when you feel ready, slowly begin to deepen your breathing. With a bigger breath, the increased movement. Fill the lungs and exhale with a sigh. We're starting to move the body again in small ways. But naturally just flow into bigger movements, rolling, twisting, or even stretching the whole body again with your arms overhead. You can reach from your fingers through your toes. And let go. Return to your comfortable resting pose. Or bending your legs and hugging them into your body. Give yourself a big squeeze. Roll over to your right side and just rest for a moment. Repeat this pose. Before helping yourself up to where we began, finding any stable and comfortable seat. Connecting again with your experience. Just notice and feel. And bringing your hands in front of your heart. Thanking yourself for making time for yoga in your day to day. And thank you, every one of you, for being here. May your practice benefit you and all those around you. Namaste.